Whew. I tricked you. This isn't cocaine. It's heroin.
That drugs will not be tolerated.
Welcome to Reviews of Reviews, where I review reviewers' latest reviews of the latest movies.
Washington wants to make the biggest bust in U.S. history, Pablo Escobar, and his main distributor, Roberto Alcano.
This week, we're looking at The Infiltrator, starring Bryan Cranston.
Couple of team changes. Mazer, you're with Abreu.
Morgenstern starts off by painting a very vivid picture in my mind. But the drug of choice here is acting, and the highs in this hurtling, often violent thriller are doubly intense since two of its stars play flamboyant double roles. I personally like to get high off of John Leguizamo and Bryan Cranston. Oh. Mr. Cranston is, of course, no stranger to chemical-based drama. Bravo. What I also appreciate is giving me backstory I wouldn't necessarily know about not just the actors, but like the director and the writers. Brad Furman, who directed The Infiltrator, skillfully from a screenplay that Ellen Brown Furman, his mother, based on Mazur's 2009 memoir. I wonder what it would be like to be on that set. Another big plus when it comes to review is highlighting or incorporating Diane Kruger in any way, even if she's not in the film. That's a huge plus. Ms. Kruger makes Kathy a casual linguist, a dashing fashionista, an enchanting sophisticate, and best of all, a kind soul. So a great review from the Wall Street Journal. That goes in the good pile.
I know these people. You gotta play with them, you gotta drink with them, you gotta do whatever you gotta do, man.
So Jenkins does a good job of explaining the backstory of the characters and the story itself. But there's one thing I kind of have a gripe with. It mentions that the story is written by Ellen Brown Furman, but unlike the Wall Street Journal, it doesn't tell you that that's Furman's mother. So that would lead me to assume that they're a husband and wife duo. And that puts one image in my mind. But then when I find out that they're actually mother and daughter, that image, mother and son, that image becomes inappropriate. And so now I have an inappropriate image in my mind. So that's obviously a -1. What I do give props for NPR is highlighting John Leguizamo's role. He did a really good job. Amir remains a more ambiguous figure, which is why the movie crackles whenever Leguizamo comes on screen. It's Amir who propels the film, if only occasionally, into exotic emotional territory. Exotic emotional territory. Exotic emotional territory. Good review. Put an appropriate thought in my head. It's a -1, but it's also a +1 because, you know, everyone's a pervert.
In my business, nothing good ever comes in the absence of trust.
Our final review comes from RogerEbert.com by Peter Sobczynski. So the review itself is very boilerplate. It does give you a breakdown of the characters and the story, but he does one mistake I see far too often when it comes to reviews. But even factoring that in, there is too often a distinct lack of tension to the material, especially when one compares it to something like Donnie Brasco. And see, the reviewer mentions a movie that I personally don't know, and that's a -5 in my book. Like, how dare you not know my movie taste, what movies I have seen and what movies I haven't seen. I make it quite clear what movies I've seen. So, no good. Luckily, they're able to redeem themselves with the final sentence of the review. Those looking for a story equal to Cranston's contributions to it are liable to come away from it feeling slightly disappointed. And it's true. I think that's one of the tricky things when you're doing a film based on real life, is the fact that real life disappoints you. Pretty good reviews, and I guess that's because it is a good movie. Cranston does a great job of doing the drug dealer angle, which is different from Breaking Bad, though you do see similarities. And John Leguizamo, he was really good in that. And so, and what I also really like, I did want to mention, none of the reviews I saw mention this, is they properly cast Spanish-speaking roles. So the guys from Colombia actually have Colombian accents. The guys from Miami who were born here have Miami accents. The ones who are probably the first immigrants coming over here have their own specific accents. So that was a good thing. I liked that a lot. Definitely go check it out. Overall, good reviews. The reviewers were very informative. Across the board, it was kind of hard to pick them. They did kind of say the same things, but good movie. Go check it out. Definitely check it out.
This was an audition. You got the part.